take massy action with me. I promise it's gonna be interesting. When you are a content creator, when you have a business that is in the digital space, is that we don't always want the shiny thing. Sometimes we want the thing that is actually going to like pull at our heartstrings a little bit and be like, oh wow, I don't know why, but I really felt that. And those are the people that like I want to raise up and be like, come on, come take massy action with me. I promise it's gonna be interesting.
I'm your host, Tiffany G, an Australian business and mindset coach with 10 years experience in online marketing and the creator of the Business Bravery framework. I help coaches to be brave so you can sign more clients even if you hate marketing and sales feel icky. From signing your next paying clients through to launching that dream group coaching program, the Business Bravery framework helps you take bigger leaps without the mindset spirals. It's helped my clients double their investment in me, make thousands of dollars, and truly build their dream business. In this episode, I had the pleasure of chatting with Samantha from Socials Brewing, who has been working in social media and digital marketing for the past decade. Working with big names like Disney, Marvel, Target, and Netflix in her career, she decided to return to her grassroots, working with organizations and creators that deeply care about their community and their experiences. She strives to be the real talk, candid and opinionated big sister with her clients and on social media. Never afraid to hold punches, she still practices compassion, respect, and understanding with everyone. As a marketer, she lives for those open, transparent, and deep conversations that she learns from, gaining a new perspective and understanding of humans and how they think. Self-labeled the Chaos Queen, she harnesses that energy and has turned it into powerful action for her clients and business. Taking space, done with playing small, filling her cup, dating herself, with her summer theme songs being Houdini by Dua Lipa and Little Gone Girl by Chinchilla. With that said, this is an amazing episode and I can't wait to share with you Samantha's stories of business bravery, past, present, and future. Now, who's ready for some business bravery inspiration? Let's dive in. I am super excited to be here with my guest this week, and that is Samantha from Socials Brewing. This is amazing. We've been
Good
having an
morning, Tiffany.
awesome, yes, we've been having an awesome chat this morning. And if for those of you watching on the video, you'll see that we've accidentally matching colors and it's like we coordinated and like we've just
This was all an accident. We swear we did not coordinate this.
no.
Like we put out the vibes.
No. Yeah, I'll just delete those text messages now. No. Okay. So, Samantha, thank you so much for taking the time to come on and share your bravery stories and all of the awesome inspiration for everybody listening today. Please, tell us about yourself, who you help, and what brave things you've got going on today.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me just say thank you so much for having me, Tiffany. I've been looking forward to this for such a long time since our first chat, like I don't even know, months ago, which is quite hilarious because the huge transition and transformation that I've had from like when we first chatted to like who I am now, it's like a completely different human that you're talking to, other than, the general chaos queen herself being like, hi, you're welcome. It's still a question mark for me because like, listen, I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea, so like it is what it is. But yes, hello everybody, my name is Samantha Grobler. I'm from Socials Brewing. Who I'm here to really service and help is small and mid-sized organizations and solopreneurs, content creators who really just like want to step into their own and take some messy action with me. I get it. Content creation is absolutely hard. It's a beast. And I know it's something that will always be talked about within the social media realm and with the the beautiful day and age of TikTok and short form video. It's harder and harder. And I've got some sassy, super opinionated stuff about, what you can and can't be doing. But more than anything, I'm here to encourage you to make it easy for you and make it more about you. Like what is going to be easiest and best for you. It's the hardest thing that you can do because you're in this industry. It's so easy to get too many opinions and we're all telling you something different. I'm here to tell you and to help you listen to you. So that's like the long and short of it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's the long and short of it.
Oh my gosh, okay, I'm so intrigued by this. So what do you find that people like gets in the way for people to like where they're not listening to themselves for like their social media and their
Yeah.
business? What's getting in the way? Like why do we need you? Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. So I think it's very easy to get into the zone of, I don't even know if the term is still relevant, but it's like keeping up with the Joneses.
Mm,
And it's the constant comparison game and being like, oh, well, how can I emulate them? You don't need to emulate anybody but yourself. Because
mm,
at the end of the day, the reason why people come to you is
mm,
for you. So whether you're in a coaching business, service business, I would even argue like some product
mm.
based businesses, like they're here for you and your brain, especially if you're doing something super unique within your space, within your industry. Like there's a reason why people are gravitating and picking that thing over your competitors. And so utilizing and harnessing your power and your unique brain is what you need to be doing. You need to not put the blinders on, but you need to take the messy action and just do it. Because I'm going to be real with y'all. Most people aren't listening or paying attention anyway. So why don't you take the chance? Because maybe the right person at the right time will be listening.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's so powerful. And it's kind of funny because like I mean, I've been in, like I started out in content creation for my online marketing background, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
beginning, like yeah, there was so much I had so much stress around, oh, who's reading this? What are they thinking? But like
Yeah.
these days, I'm like it's a struggle to get people to even read anything. So I'm like less concerned about who's reading it.
People don't
But it's just, like it's kind of funny for me. It's like the fact that it's more saturated means it's easier for me to take action because it feels like everybody else is doing it too. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like, imposter syndrome is real. And I
Mm.
get that it's just like, especially with like old school Instagram, like where everybody was sold like this shiny, beautiful dream. But then, in came TikTok with its authenticity and people be like, listen, that's great. We
Yeah.
love that for you. And here we are just opening up the door just to be like our most authentic selves. I think that's something that that platform has done and done very, very well is like given the people opportunity just to like let loose, be themselves. Obviously the influencer and UGC industry has also evolved and changed a lot over even the last like 2 years or so. And I think we're slowly as consumers letting go of like that picture perfect esque thing. And this is
Mm.
coming from a Vancouverite, right? Like, I love my city. She's gorgeous. She's beautiful. I am proper born and raised like on Commercial Drive, Vancouver, right, baby. I will always be a West Coaster. I say this, even though I'm going out to the East Coast to like, live my little for the pot moment. But something that I've learned about my city is sometimes it can attract people that will only go skin deep. And
Mm.
so when we encourage people to go deeper than what's just being shown, we learn that there's so much more beauty and so much more impact that we can actually have when we create something that puts us in a very vulnerable position. And I think that it's important to understand that when you are a content creator, when you have a business that is in the digital space, is that we don't always want the shiny thing. Sometimes we want the thing that is actually going to like pull at our heartstrings a little bit and be like, oh, wow, I don't know why, but I really felt that. And those are the people that like I want to raise up and be like,
Mm.
come on, come take massy action with me. I promise it's gonna be interesting. It's not going to be pretty all the time. That's also the other thing is, I think influencers, when we first, started being in this space, we were sold that beautiful dream that everything is pretty. But the more we got into it and the more that the digital industry as a whole, like, became a little bit more transparent, we realized that there is this huge messy middle and it's not so cute. Like, oh, it's not so cute or and that's okay too. And that is also why I'm encouraging people to talk a little bit more about the messiness. Like I said, where I was a few months ago to who I am today is like, obviously there's a lot of things that are foundationally me. I am a high energy girly. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to maybe get a little too real for some people, maybe be a little bit too opinionated, but this is me stepping into my power and being like, listen, it's gonna be all right. Because something I've learned throughout my years is bluntness without compassion is just you being I should have asked if I could swear, but
yeah,
it's just you being a dill hole. There we go. I was thinking a lot. Like, am I allowed to swear on here? Ooh, okay, we should probably keep the swearing to a minimum, but there might come out.
yeah.
Am I allowed to swear?
Well, see, I'm Australian, so we swear a lot more naturally. I try not to swear too much on the podcast simply because, like, I know some people it's like, oh, it's really so yeah. But if
I mean,
but
yeah,
the
I swear
odd
on my
thing here or
channel, but
there, the odd thing
yeah.
here or there, go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah. So, bluntness without compassion is you being an asshole. And that's, I think, also a really important lesson that I've learned with taking messy action is like, you can give feedback, but make sure that you're understanding another person's boundaries and like asking them, like, what is the best way you can communicate? Because at the end of the day, if you are giving feedback, if you are looking to help somebody step into their power, then how they communicate and how they receive feedback is going to be way more important than the feedback that you actually give, because it really is impact, not intent. And when we don't have the empathy to really be like, hey, how can I deliver this to you? Then what's the point in you even saying it anyway? It's like giving unsolicited advice. Like, you're like, cool, have fun talking to the wall.
Yeah.
Don't be like the wall. The wall's great.
Yeah.
Go sit with it all day.
Yeah, it's funny that because like that kind of like advice or help or feedback, it's often well-meaning, but if you also leave the person feeling worse and less than they were, then they're unlikely to take action on it anyway. So it's kind of like it's not even helpful for either person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And like feedback, ultimately it's an anytime you have a conversation with anybody, it's an energy exchange, right? So, if you're pouring this energy into somebody else's cup without pouring into your cup first, and by when I say like pouring into your cup is like understanding that like this person that you're talking to, this person you're having a conversation with, is their own individual with their own cup.
Yeah.
And you have to be aware of that.
Mm.
And so if you're just like, I'm trying to pour into your cup and you didn't ask permission, like,
yeah.
Maybe don't, because maybe you're like mixing two drinks that like shouldn't be mixed. maybe you're putting something into their cup that they really don't want and didn't give you permission for anyway. So why would you, essentially waste your energy and waste theirs, because then they're having to do that healing work after and being like, oh my goodness, like why? And like that's something that I always try to avoid as well as like a coach and somebody who's like trying to genuinely help people. Is I don't want to give somebody that, oh my God, why moment for whatever reason. That's like the last thing I want when I have, or when I'm having an interaction with somebody, is to have like that, oh my God, why? I mean, I get that anyway, because this is like intense and a lot. So like, it's just like, like when people are like, oh my God, why? That's different than like, oh my God, why?
Yeah, that is different, isn't it? I've never thought of it.
People give me that, oh my God, why all the time. So like, it's not a big deal. And at the end of the day, somebody else's opinion has nothing to do with me. Or sorry, somebody else's opinion of me really has nothing to do with me. It could be based off of so many different things, so many different experiences, and we can't take away somebody else's human experience. But again, that's their human experience. So if their opinion of me is, it is what it is. It's like, that's great. I'm very comfortable in my own skin. I haven't, this is a whole thing and we love it, but it's not for everybody.
Actually, it's really interesting what you said about that though, with the different like reactions and how they're different and everything. Just like for me, I've only been sort of working out who I really am in the last few years. So before
Yeah.
that, it was just really natural for me to kind of go, oh, what does this person need from me? And just sort of like focus on other people because that's was safe for me when I was growing up. And I think that's a
Yeah.
large part of like why I was like attracted to you, just because like you're just really, being yourself. And it's just like, oh, I want a little bit more of that for me. Like obviously it's gonna look different for me. Yeah, but
Do well with compliments. Sometimes they can be a little awkward, but that's amazing. Sorry, continue.
yeah, so I just like I love that, and I'm just really excited to sort of explore more of that. But we are here for bravery and stories of bravery. So
Yes.
while and actually like you have actually been talking about bravery, about like being yourself, like that's some of the bravest shit I've had to do. There we go. Now I'm swearing. But
Yes.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I did want to know, like, what sort of brave things are you doing now, like in your business and maybe your life or something, things outside of your comfort zone to grow? And I imagine that might look different since you have a long background in doing the social media stuff that you do and all of that goodness. And yeah.
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 Yeah. I think one of the probably the bravest things that I could have done for myself as far as like career wise was starting up Socials Brewing again. I believe I'm in anniversary 3 and I'm trying to get much better at celebrating her because like she is the brainchild of like of everything that I've learned up to now and prior to my big boy corporate job, which was it is what it is. I ran my own business, but it was very messy. It wasn't necessarily bad messy, but it was definitely a discombobulated show. I don't know how I did as well as I did. That word of mouth referrals was absolutely amazing, but it was the burnout and it was the constant movement within that part of my within that like entrepreneurship that was like what led me into taking like a very corporate job that was very safe, that it did offer me financial stability and everything like that. And even though like I was making way more when I was running my first or the business the first time, having that stability, I think also brought me a lot of clarity. And there was a lot of things that I learned in my corporate job that that I didn't want to bring into my business the second time. And so when I started up Socials Brewing, it was really like the brainchild of the trauma, the learnings. It was the final like nail in the coffin, being like, why am I working with a bunch of incompetent people when I could just be doing this myself? I have the brain, I have the tenacity, and I have the willpower. I need to go and just do it. That was the very first like brave, messy action thing that I knew that I was just like, we just need to go do this. And then anything thereafter, I mean, everything and anything far far between during my 3 years doing Socials Brewing has been a wild ride. Like last year, I took a really good business class with with Social Bungalow. Shannon Mason. She's absolutely like fantastic. Wow, that lady really knows her stuff. And it brought me a lot of clarity. And with that clarity, I was like, okay, I know I had a much better direction of like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm good at. I know what direction I need to be in. So that last year was like, my word was clarity. And I had never gotten that clarity within my business and within myself as well. And then this year brought a lot of big life changes that forced me to be brave. And the thing is, I've never had a problem with being brave. I've never had a problem with being myself. What I had a problem with is actually stepping into it and forcing myself to do something that was like beyond scary and being a little bit impulsive and actually taking that messy action, because I'm very calculated in everything I do. It's why I'm so like data driven, is because I'm just like, well, I want to see the data. I want to see like what I should and shouldn't be doing. So taking that messy action and just being like, no, we're just gonna do it. We don't need to see the data. We don't see the numbers. We're just gonna do it, and then we'll make iterations later. That has been like, I think, the most monumental brave thing that I've done in my business, is just being like, we're just going to do it. Fuck it all. Fuck it all. Fuck all the planning. Fuck the super analytical and logical brain. We are just going to do it. And after we're done doing it, we'll figure it out. We'll make iterations. We'll go with the flow, which, like, you know, a part of my maid of honor speech, my best friend, Jessica Poon from Studio Crescent, she got married last year. And I was like, hello, everybody. This is the only speech that's going to be here. And then I said something about like us being control freaks, because we both absolutely are. And I was like, this control freak one, this control freak two. Sometimes it switches, but depending on the day. So understanding that you kind of just have to do it. And you gotta let go of control, which is hard for me to do sometimes because of that logical Capricorn brain that we both love and hate all at the same time. It's great. Letting go of that, I think, has made the biggest shift in both myself and in my business as well. Like, I'm seeing the momentum, I'm seeing the results, and like, it's like scary, but not scary in the same way as some things used to terrify me.
Okay. So what's an example of you like letting go of the control so that you can actually like step into that bravery that you were holding back from?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I've had a lot of personal life shifts. So, you know, I broke up with my partner of 4.5 years, and that was a big life shift. And like, for me not to like instantly, like, you know, where was I going to sleep? And like, you know, I'm thankful for my best friend who took me in, was just like, you know, come, you can come stay here. You can come, you can ask for help. That was like number one. And number two, within business, it was just like actually putting my brain down on paper, and then again asking for help, because asking for help for me can sometimes be a big thing. And when you ask for help, that's when you really learn that, like, oh yeah, I am letting go of control, because you are essentially putting yourself in a very vulnerable place and being like, I don't know. And it's a very genuine I don't know. And it's one of those genuine I don't knows that I think needs to be done, especially if you're in business and you're working for yourself, because we can get lost in the busy work, in the nitpicky thing. So asking for help in both my personal and my professional life it was pretty brand new for me, especially since, like, you know, even at my corporate job, I was the one who was, you know, creating all the systems and creating all the processes to make everybody else's job a lot easier. And that was on top of my regular duties. And I wasn't even like the manager, but I was like, well, I know how to make systems, kids. Like, I could do this. Like, I'm definitely one of those, like, I can do anything. But it was hard for me to just like be like, I can do anything, but can somebody please look at my work? Like a real opinion, because like this is like all that I'm about, but I actually need help. Can somebody help me? And the thing was, is like the two ladies that gave me help, like, you know, Rebecca and Maggie, they were absolutely wonderful. The feedback that they gave me was spot on, and it was things that I was thinking about, but I doubted myself because I was being nitpicky and I did not want to lose control. So letting go of that and just being like a little bit more vulnerable, and like, you know, maybe it was a little bit of confirmation bias, but I was like, huh. And then there was a few things that they put in there that I was like, I didn't really think about it that way. That's true. And it made me really appreciate the support that you can get in this community as well. Because, you know, being a solopreneur can absolutely be like a very lonely place. It's one of those things where I know like people talk about it, but people don't actually talk about it to the point of like, no, there are days where sometimes I will forget to talk to other humans. I will not have a singular like voice conversation with another human because I locked myself in my apartment, in my room, whatever, what have you. And I have not left for whatever reason because, like, maybe you work out at home, maybe you're very ritualistic in your habits. I know I certainly am because I have ADHD. So it's like if I don't have those habits, oh my goodness, it's going to get bad. But pardon me, but when you are doing all that work by yourself, it's so easy to get locked in, and not asking for that support, I think, is detrimental to us all because we are very social creatures. It's why, like, when we saw COVID happen, we there was a lot of things that started happening, and now that we're out of it, we're like seeing everybody doing the actual work, especially women within the space as well, being like, oh, I'm actually going to do some healing work because like it needs to be done, which is amazing to see in the online space as well as people like also just stepping more and more into their power. I'm just like, yes, girl, you're doing the hard work. You're doing the personal development work because like we love it. And I've never not done that work. Like when I was in my very early 20s, like, we've all been through stuff, but when I was in my very early 20s, that is like when the personal development, personal growth work like really started. And sometimes you need to make like big shifts and like let go of control and take messy action to actually get somewhere. Like, even though you might not necessarily know what the end result will be, you're not really attached to the end result. So you're like, wait, we're just gonna find out.
That okay, so do you find that your like clients or the people you work with have to like let go of control in order to hire you, or are they letting go of control in other areas? Like how does this like relate on that side of things?
Yeah, so that's actually a really great question. It's for when I work with clients, it's not necessarily about control, although I definitely attract like A-type personalities. And so having somebody like me come in where they're like, oh wow, okay, you know some stuff. I understand that when I walk into like that room, so to speak, that there's always going to be like that little like shift of dynamic, but I just let them know like ultimately I'm here to support them. I'm here to support their goals. I like I've always been that like coach, mentor, what have you, that will support their vision and understand like their own boundaries. Yes, I will push their limitations a little bit in terms of like, they'll be like, well, I really don't want to do it. And then I will ask them why. Because it's not necessarily about me understanding why, it's about giving them and holding space for them to understand why they don't, if that makes sense. So, like, it's not necessarily about control. Sometimes it's about self reflection and giving them the space to understand their own perspective, their own fears, their own like deep rooted desires. Because I'm just, more or less, I like to think with like the particular program is like I'm a conduit of action. I'm going to bring out all, and like that's what I want to be too, right? Is like I want to bring out all the good and sometimes all the bad, but I want you to understand that the bad isn't necessarily bad. It's just a challenge that maybe you haven't digested yet and you haven't given space to reflect on and to process, which is why like anytime I have like a one-on-one, I'm like, if you need time to digest, we can always come back to this. Like, you don't have to have any questions right now, or maybe you have 1,000,004 of them. I want you to write them all down. I want you to take it all in, and then I want you to come back to me because, like, ultimately, we all process and digest things in different ways, and not giving your clients like space to really take all the information in is, I think, like a detriment because at the end of the day, this space, there's a lot of room in this space. We can all make space for each other, but it's also about making space for each other in that moment.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. Okay, so talking about taking space,
Mhm.
when you started like going back into like the beginning of your business journey? I don't know if it's this iteration of your business or the first iteration of your business, but what were some of the brave steps you had to take for making that happen?
Is a great question. So I think we'll go all the way back to the beginning.
Okay.
We'll go all the way back to the beginning of the first round of my business, because essentially what happened was, again, it was like a breakup. Breakup seemed to like be my initiator. So like I don't want to put that energy out there. Maybe cut all that. But what really, or maybe like leave it in because it's like super wrong choice. But what really initiated that action was the fact that, like, again, I went through another big life change, and it was really up and down to me to get down and dirty and messy with it. So understanding that I basically had to like really push myself, that like, there wasn't necessarily like food on the table unless I really pushed myself and I really applied my knowledge and like what I knew. And this is like, Instagram at the time was like maybe 4 years old. So like social media was still like very new. I was still very new to social media. It was a little bit of like a big monumentous task, which, I would still make the argument that it still is in a lot of ways. I think that there's way more to do because like social media's platforms have like way more mediums, way more functions. It does take a lot of time, effort, energy to show up on video. But the big thing that I think that really shifted me into like this business overall was the fact that I just love humans. And that was a huge thing for me to like really fully admit to, that I don't think I actually admitted to until my second or third year of social media. I was like, I actually like humans, because my professional background was culinary arts. Like I was a chef for 10 years. And I don't get me wrong, I miss the kitchen every single day of my life, because like food is my life. Like food is like something I'm trying to get back to. But it was a weird realization and a weird moment for me to be like, I actually really like humans. I really kind of like the psychology of humans. I really like being able to influence them and to like speak to them in a way that like that they love and understand. And like I really loved like the relaying of information, because Instagram, used to just be like, all it was just a picture and a bunch of writing. Back when people used to read, it was great. I mean, you still had to say some things like 8 or 9 times in order for them to be like, oh, really cool. But it was that weird mind shift where I was like, oh, I really like marketing. Oh, I'm actually pretty good at this. Like, go figure. Because for a chef, like, it's a very much a people pleasing business. All hospitality is, but it's a different shift from a people pleasing business to marketing. Because really, ultimately, I think great marketing is about influencing and the right message to the right person. And doing that was it. I think it took me, probably, in my opinion, and this is because like, we're all our worst critics, but I think in my opinion it probably took me a little bit longer than cooking, because cooking has always been natural to me, but marketing took a lot of effort and time and like active learning consistently for years, and understanding that I was like, okay, I do like this. Okay, I'm pretty good at this. Okay, how do I get better at this? Was something that I was very happy to do. And I think with all, now that I've like fully shifted into like what I would lovingly call like my second or third career, depending on how you look at it, it's something that I think I will always love, like I'll always love to do. And the reason why, like, so this, like, the other big shift was like working for myself, because I want to make a genuine impact on like smaller businesses and those solopreneurs and those content creators that like have a very strong and powerful message. I think is like where I've really honed in and been like, no, this is who I want to help. These are the people I really like want to speak to and talk to. because at the end of the day, like there's there, we can call a spade, but it is an oversaturated market. But giving power back to those voices that I think will make a real difference is something that I want to do and I want to take action on. And, coming back to bravery is like, if I can give 10% of my bravery to somebody else, I think accomplished my mission of giving power to the voices that may not have power.
Mm. Oh my gosh, that's such an interesting way of looking at it because, yeah, even with me, with all of this bravery, I mean, I think about inspiring others, and I have had a lot of people say to me, oh my gosh, like even just meeting you and hearing your message about bravery has made me more brave. Like,
Yeah.
and like that's awesome. But I never thought about that, oh, if I could give somebody 10% of my bravery, I haven't, oh, okay. Oh, more work for me to do. Okay.
Well, to give you a moment to shine in your bravery for a second. I think by doing this podcast, you're not just you're not giving 10%. You're technically giving the whole ass 100%. Because you are giving people a platform. You are giving people the opportunity that might not have the opportunity to really speak their minds and have these candid conversations and really just word vomit brain dump I think I give about 10% of my bravery. I think you give 100% of people their own bravery. And that is so powerful because being able to maybe not push, because I think you're way more gentle than I am. I definitely am you good? You need somebody to hold your hand? Yep. Doggy paddle. Okay, you want me to jump in and doggy paddle? You facilitate giving people 100% their bravery. So you give 100% of that. So don't girl, don't diminish your own light. You are doing amazing. You are doing the source's work right now. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. It's so interesting that actually, and this is the thing about bravery, it's like once you do certain brave things for a while, they don't feel as brave. They feel more natural. And so this kind of stuff for me is as natural as breathing. And so, yeah, I forget until people on the outside go, hey, actually, you know what? This is really valuable. And it's like, oh, great. Because some of my solo episodes, I'm sharing my failures for those, and it's like, oh, here's what I learned, and it wasn't perfect and it wasn't pretty, guys.
But again, that is also giving people bravery as well, because for everybody who listens, for to you putting yourself in that vulnerable position, being like, oh man, it was not great. That is its own source of bravery. That is in very essence you giving back, giving somebody your 10%. And don't I know obviously it comes very naturally to you now because you've been doing this for a while, but and this is the pot calling the kettle black, and I know hi pot, I'm kettle, but don't forget to celebrate yourself and to have those moments of I think that was my queen sitting in her throne just being
Excuse me. Sorry, for those on the audio, yeah, Samantha's doing these awesome movements, and yes, like you said, the queen in her throne type sort of pose.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, all right, I need to do a photo of that after this and put it online.
Hell yeah, girl. Hell yeah, girl. And sometimes I get that it's when something so brave becomes normalized and mundane in your own brain that it does become hard to celebrate. So, I know it's early in the morning for you, but I definitely encourage you. I empower you. I enable you to go to your special spot and just I don't know where that is for you. For me, it's the forest, and just, sit down like it's a fucking throne, and just have that. I don't know what this is.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Have that that's right. I fucking did that. Because why not? Why not? you step into your power every single day. You encourage people to step into their power every single day. So like Queen sometimes just needs to go back to her throne, to be like, you're
Yeah.
welcome.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's amazing. And definitely some work for me on embodying more of that energy. Okay. So I had questions about you though. You mentioned that you started like doing social media and then you realized, oh, hey, like, and it was active learning and it was hard, but then you realized that you liked it. How, like, what was the moment or how did you keep motivation? Like, what kept you coming back, even though I would imagine in the beginning it wasn't easy and maybe you weren't getting the results that you wanted. I think that that's some amazing insight to help us because most of us, we start out messy, imperfect, and the results aren't
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
The business- Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of part to answer with this. To be completely blunt with you, I am stubborn. I am tenacious. Like I'm one of those people where like if I fail, I'm like, not on my watch, honey, because I'm okay with failing. It's 100% part of the journey. But I've always been like the overly competitive person just with myself. So when I failed at something and you should have seen I really wish I kept my first piece of coffee because it was bad. It was bad, guys. Like, oh my God, it was not good. It was not great. And again, we're going back to Instagram where it was just like this. It was just a picture. It's a picture of coffee, so people read the coffee. It was not great. I'm pretty sure I got things incorrect because this was when I was working for a music festival. I'm pretty sure my manager was like, "So this wasn't great." They're European. Their English is very proper. They're like, what is this word? There was a lot of slang. It was just like, they're like, what did you say you're a Canadian? You write like an American? Like, it was bad, guys. It was not great. But because I am very overly competitive with myself, it's one of those things like where somebody tells me no, I'm like, really? Okay. Let me work on that. Give me 10 minutes. I'm gonna do it again. So it's a lot of my own personality of being like stubborn, tenacious. I'm not willing to quit, you know, being okay with failure because like I failed a lot as a kid. My sister was a little bit more of the golden child. I was the that's the problem. The one who was like constantly questioning authority, who was in detention. So I've always been that little troublemaker that was like, you know, never settled. So it's a little bit a part of who I am to like never give up until I'm really good at something. And I think that's also what culinary also taught me because it's such a male dominated industry. And, being this, yes, I just motioned to myself because I understand I'm a good looking girl. So like, I get it. I get it. I walk in the room, people are like, ooh, and then, it is what it is. But being in such a male dominated industry and being a woman like made it 10 times harder. So like thick skin was like just like already in my DNA and then it just got thicker. And I know that's not everybody's problem. But when you're going through what I learned is like when you're going through the motions and you're going through the learning curves, you have to understand that nobody's good at it when they first start. Nobody's good at it. Like your first, again, going back to the very first piece of copy I ever wrote. I don't remember it, but I know it was bad. It was not persuasive. They're like, I got all the information wrong. Like, I'm pretty sure like I don't quite remember, but I think it was about pre-ticket sales, and I'm pretty sure I got like the time wrong because I was like I translated to PST, which is like not their main demographic. Like, yes, they got Americans, but like, they got people from North America, but they're Europeans, they're so yeah, stuff. But understand that everybody starts from zero.
Yeah.
And if you're like me, you start at -10.
No.
and you
Now
have
who's
to
diminishing their light? No, 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 no. I'm not doing that on this podcast, mate. You're gonna have to take
yeah.
that back.
Okay, I take these vaccines. It was probably like a 2, but going like real, everybody starts like from the bottom, and it's just really about building up the consistent skill of like, okay, what's the one thing I can learn today to make me a little bit better? There is no overnight successes. And I think that is something that is being talked about within the conversations of like digital marketing and like everybody in the like in who has a digital business overall, is that there is no overnight successes. Like I know there is still a lot of like bloat happening within people's numbers, and like numbers without context means absolutely nothing in my opinion. And this is coming from a data girly, when people are like, oh, like I got 700+% for my client. I'm like, you realize there's no context to what you're saying. So like they could have never posted a single thing, and you say you got them 700+%
Yes.
with reach. Just anyways,
Yeah.
we're gonna digress. Sorry, but going back to my original point of like just taking like one thing that you can learn that day and just applying it, and understanding that when you apply it the first time, it's probably not going to be great, and just being a little bit gentle on yourself and just being like, well, I did it. Check it off the list, honey. You're just like, I did it. I did the thing. It probably wasn't great, or who knows, you might surprise yourself. You might be like, I did it.
Yeah.
You know, I did it. Hell yeah. You know, I want you to live that, but like just being a little bit more realistic in the expectations. You're probably gonna be like, I did
it. Yeah.
Both ends of the spectrum is great.
Yes.
Just being gentle on yourself and just being like, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
We can check it off the list, and then the next day, you know, you do that, and then you do another thing that you want to learn about.
Yeah.
And then just building like those consistent little skill sets. And then again, going back to asking for help and support with somebody who like you can trust, but that you can also trust to be very objective, or who understands like your goals, your needs, who understands like where you want to take things, is also equally as important. Because like sometimes, you know, going back to keeping up with the Joneses, is sometimes we get stuck in this rat race of like asking the wrong person's opinion, because I do believe that there's a lot of yes men out there, and there's a lot of people that like, even though their intent is great, it might not actually be helpful. And like going back to our point of being like, you know, giving people that space and that energy and tying it all together is like, hey, where are you actually getting that feedback? You know, are they just feeding you lip service? Because at the end of the day, like you want to still have like that candid conversation, and you want to still be able to like trust that person, like even though might be very well natured, might not be the best person to ask for that particular feedback at that time. Which is why like whenever I give feedback, I tend to ask way too many questions.
Yes.
At my content, and I'm like, are you ready for like 20 questions before I answer that? Like, and people don't expect it either, because they're just like, can you just you know, whenever I do an audit, or when people like, you know, I'll have like friends of friends be like, can you just like, you know, look at my content and like give me a little bit of feedback? And I'm like, yes, I can, but before I give you feedback, you know, I go through my whole like list of questions, and there is a list, and there's a very standard, and there's a very specific list. And sometimes I won't even give feedback depending on how they answer it, because I'm like, if you don't understand your audience, if you don't understand like your main points and your objectives, like the people that you actually want to talk to don't know how to necessarily help you, because then I'm giving you a very subjective answer based off of really a personal opinion versus a professional one. And then I'm like, ooh, this is gonna hurt more than help. And again, it's an energy exchange, right? So I'm like, hey, like, listen, I want to help you, but like I might not be the one. Might not be the person for you. That's okay too.
I have that with my clients too. Like I've had that even recently. Somebody was like, oh, can you know, give me feedback on my content and my messaging and stuff like that. And my first question is like, okay, like, all right, that's fine, but who is your ideal client? And like, what's the transformation you provide? Because like I help coaches. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like, as long as if I know these things, then I can give you feedback with that kind of, lens, as opposed
Yeah.
to, oh yeah, I like this, I like that. I don't think that's going to work. I mean, because you don't know how clear everything is. And yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah, it can get very like sticky and like subjective. And I would love to learn like what are like your questions that you ask comparatively to mine. Well, it's marketer to
yeah,
marketer, it's very
yeah.
like it's for me, it's always very insightful to understand like how another marketer's brain works because I love that you start with like who are the people you want to talk to and like
Mm.
ultimately I mean you can kind of hopefully you can see within like the first like 10 posts like what they specialize in because then if not the problem the challenge for them does become a little bit too clear.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
ooh, mm,
Well, see,
mm,
this
mm.
is part about the people who I work with, and I think we should do like a little bonus episode of what questions would we ask and compare. That'd be fun. The thing is like, excuse me, because I'm helping coaches, and they're usually a lot of the time they've been recently certified, but they're not as big on the marketing side and how to put this into messaging. And most of the time, I find that where they're having problems getting clients, it's because they're helping people like with what they need, not what they want. And so like and then oftentimes the transformation isn't clear. They're not clear about their coaching. It's very general. It's the same kind of
Oh,
thing that thousands of other coaches are talking about. So then it's like, okay, I need to get to the details and help you find those details to help you stand out and be specific so that,
yes,
you're like, yeah, people go, oh my God, I had that happen to me this morning, right? And yeah, oh my God, I need you. That's going to help me solve a problem. So that's kind of why, yeah, I have this whole range of questions and things that I do that's just, it's all intuitive to me. It all lives up in my brain. And I mean, like I have it
yes,
in documents and things, but it's just if somebody asks me, it's just suddenly these questions just come because I live and
yeah,
breathe
and
stuff.
you just rattle it off because like
Yeah.
so something that I absolutely love is like the devil is really in the details. And
Mm,
like it's why so somebody asked me the other day, they're like,
mm,
oh, if you had like two like spirituality coaches, like how could you work with both of them? I'm like,
mm,
and like I was confused by the question, and then I was like, hey, take a step back, like try to digest like why this person's actually asking you. And I was like, well, every coach is very uniquely different. So could you specify like why you're specifically asking the question? And they're like, well, like there is a lot of like wellness coaches and there's a lot of holistic coaches and like even, like personal trainers because they were really just trying to give me an example. They're like, how would you compare one personal trainer to the other? I'm like, well, technically there is no comparison because when
mm,
you are dealing with coaches and people who give like such a personal experience, the
mm.
whole difference is within the person themselves. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't see and I've turned down a few contracts because they're like, well, I don't want you to work with anybody else in that space. And I'm like, thank you so much for your time. I don't work with other business owners that are like basically telling me how to run my business. And they're like, well, that's a really strong wording. I'm like, well, after how many
Mm,
conversations that we've had, and like that I understand that everybody is different. It's
mm.
and like my whole like part of stepping into your power and taking that messy action is like helping me help you understand that like you are the unique you are
Yeah.
you're the whole ass thing, girl. Like,
Yes.
the whole ass difference. You're the
Mm.
reason why people gravitate towards you. And if I
Yes.
can't bring that out of you, then I did something wrong as a coach. Like I did something wrong as a mentor. I did something within now
Yeah.
that you are even putting this that you're even posing this as a question
Mm.
because
Yeah.
no, we don't play that game.
Yeah. Oh my
We
gosh.
don't play that game.
I've been so
No.
lucky I haven't had anybody say that sort of thing to me because like I mean I make it very clear like I help coaches. It's usually in business coaches and health coaches is usually who I end up working with. And most of the time it's because I'm as much their ideal client as I am their coach. So I'm very good at stepping into the shoes of here's how this is
other
hitting me
people.
as somebody who might work with you because I'm so close to your ideal client. So yeah.
Yeah, and I
Mm.
really love that. I think for whatever reason, sometimes like when you're like this, and I just motioned to myself, being the chaos and A type personality, I know like that my energy exudes, and I know that people like, everybody's like, I want to be around like the hyper high energy girl. And so sometimes and this is also like what I've been trying to do a lot more lately is like being aware of that energy and being like a little bit more mindful. Yes, we take messy action, but we're like, okay, well, what energy am I putting out? You know
Mm.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
like, again, I'm the self-labeled, self-described chaos queen. I don't know why I started calling myself a chaos queen, but I'm like, and I think it's like the high energy, like ADHD neurospicy, where I'm just like, yes, chaos, we love it. But I'm actually not that chaotic. I,
Yeah.
I like to say that that like I am the drama, but it's because I'm very dramatic in my,
Mm. Yeah.
yes. Again, I'm just motioning to myself.
Yeah.
and and maybe people like are attracted to that kind of chaos energy. I don't know.
Mm.
That's something I'm
Yeah.
gonna reflect on that. Reflect on. I'm writing it down because otherwise I will forget.
Well, my perspective, I was definitely attracted to the high energy and, like that matches me in some points. But then it was interesting hearing you talk today about, oh, but I like the data, I have my routines, and I'm just like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah, that also matches me too. So yeah, definitely. But I wouldn't call it chaos, but then I don't feel like I mean, I like the idea of Chaos Queen, but by the same token, I also feel like it's a little bit diminishing your awesomeness in some ways. Like I think it's yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, that's
Mm,
definitely, yeah, it's definitely something I'm gonna reflect on because like
mm, mm,
I don't know. I think I've always just been like a duality of
mm.
myself.
Yeah.
And again, it might be the neurospicy where it's like we are the extremes, right? It's like it's the all or it's the nothing. Even my bestie, when I was out in Ottawa, something that she said, she was like, Sam one on one is very different than Sam in a group because
Mm,
Sam in a group is masking. And she is going to be like, she is going to make sure that like everybody's having a good time. She wants everybody to feel comfortable. So she's going to do everything possible in order for people to feel that because like, I was the rebel. I was the outcast. I was like the nerd. And like I didn't care. So because I didn't care, I wanted people to understand that like you don't need to care. And I think that's really carried out throughout my adult years. But then she's like, yeah, you get Sam one on one, she's calm. She's well, not calm. I don't know if anybody would ever describe me as calm, honey, but I'm more digestible. And that's when logic really like comes into play. And that's when the analytical parts of my brain like really comes in. Like it's the amount of self-reflection and like personal work that I've done on myself that like clues in because I'm like, oh yeah, we don't have to mask like this whole time. We love it. Okay, cool. I can be a little bit, I'm more relaxed. There we go. I'm not calm.
mm.
I'm
Yeah.
more relaxed on a one-on-one setting because I think I am
Mm,
everybody would automatically always assume that I'm an extrovert, but I think I am a extrovert learned introvert. Like
mm,
I'm very comfortable by myself. I'm very comfortable with my alone time. I like me time is like the
mm.
best thing ever. Stepping into my power. Actually, after I'm done this, I'm gonna go and take myself out for a little date because you gotta date yourself, honey. It's like you gotta be very comfortable in your own skin. And I have taken myself on a date in a very long time, so I'm gonna go do that.
That's awesome.
It's a beautiful day on Vancouver. I'm gonna take advantage of it. And like, I'm stepping into my own feminine power as well. So I bought pink. I don't normally wear pink. So like this is like also very like, oh, this is this is this is the divine source being like, you are stepping into the right path. Go. Go forth and love it. I forgot the point that I was gonna make. But
Mm.
yeah, I know it's gone. Bye thought. Have a good day. Go now.
That's awesome. That happens to me all the time. Hang on a second. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I've got cold water here, which makes the coughing worse, but I
Yeah.
have the dry throat, so I need the water. Just this
It's
self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah.
yeah, you're like, I'm trying to do the thing, but at the same
Yeah.
time, doing the
Oh,
thing kind of really
yes.
hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it.
Okay. Okay. So tell me, just like we don't have too much time before we finish up, but tell me quickly, what
Yes.
things do you have coming up, like brave things do you have coming up that you're working on in the next 3 to 6 months in your
Yeah.
business?
So
Yeah. Mm.
yeah, so absolutely. So the brave things that are coming into real fruition, because last year was the year of clarity. This year, it's supposed to, I think my first word of the year was actually like focus and alignment. And all that is really coming into fruition with action. So, we're gonna be seeing a lot of my updated offers come into fruition. I am really leaning my business to be a little bit more of a one-on-one space, at least for the next little while. I have plans. I have plans on top of plans. So really, it's all the hard, dirty, messy action work that's going to be coming out in the next little while. I'm going to be relaunching the audit and it's all in all its wonderful glory, so you can also take action because we are action girlies. Let's go fast or let's go slow, however pace you want to go. Now it's a song we don't know, we love it. I don't know what it's there now. It's there forever. So that's going to be the one of my main offers, because the whole point of the audit and that offer for me is I want people to be able to get clarity and get direction that's actually like personalized to them. And again, it's like people ask me all the time, they're like, can you look at my content? So this is a way for me to fulfill that is at a very, it's reasonable cost, everything like that, because I get that, it's a little bit of a weird world right now, and I'm trying to give people, no, sorry, I'm going to be giving people what they need in order to actually move forward with their marketing, with their business, and get their, pardon me, messages out there to the right people.
Mm.
And then the next part of fruition that's going to be coming in is reworking one of my original like offers, because like I absolutely love it, but it doesn't make sense in its current state. So there's been a lot of back end work that is going to finally be taking it's going to be blossom. It's going to be in bloom. Like right now, there's been a lot of watering of the plant. Yeah, we're talking about plants now. There's been a lot of watering of the seeds and getting it to nurture and grow, and now it's about making that growth really happen, because at the end of the day, like I was saying before, I do want to help people become brave and step into their power and give that 10%. Hey, if I can give you 50%, that like hell yeah. But let's be a little bit realistic and let's say 10% of my
Mm.
brave, then
Yeah.
I will have absolutely done my job, because I think that there is a lot of people within that specific space, and like I'm okay with that. But one thing that I think that is going to be very different between the few is I'm here to support you and like your journey, because I've also been through the content creator journey, and you don't suddenly just become confident, like no. And getting people to show up like online with their face on video is a scary thing. It
Mm.
is absolutely scary. So it's like, there's a little bit of hand holding. There's a
Mm.
little bit of like, I'm here to make it easy for you.
Mm.
And I've done this journey with too many people. So I know how it goes. And I love telling my clients this. I'm like, I mean this in the nicest way possible. But this content creation journey that you're on is not unique.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through this.
Mm.
Your stages and what you have difficulty with, that is unique to you. How we accomplish your goals, how I hold space for you, how I give my bravery to you,
Mm.
that is unique to your journey. It's not all clients, and girl, you know this, not all clients are made equal.
Yeah.
Not everybody is made equal, and like, kind of thank goodness for that, because I probably wouldn't enjoy my job as much if I didn't have like that little bit of like,
Yeah,
space.
exactly.
That little bit of like drama. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's that dramatic, but like, sometimes you're like, oh, you are having a time. Okay, how can I support you with this? Because like, ooh, I was not anticipating that today. Again, all our content creation journeys are unique, and I think that's also something that should be celebrated, is the fact that like we all go through the exact same things, but when we go through it is very, very different. And understanding that we can still support them in that journey and hold space and get that little bit of bravery so they can take that messy action is it's honestly, it's what I live for. It's like what I will ride and die with, like it's one of the reasons why like I did some judging. I did some revamping of those offers, because I was like, what is actually going to make an impact? What is going to help them within, the first week? Because that's what the audit is for. So you can take that action. And then the next offer is, what's going to make an impact with you, what's going to make the biggest impact for you within the next 6 months. Because that's also another thing, is like, I can't teach somebody 10 years of marketing.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
I've tried. Woo, girl.
And in fact, even the knowledge from 10 years of marketing, even if you could give someone the knowledge, it's not the same as applying it. Because like I've seen so many times, like, oh, I followed all the rules and I put it out there like everyone else, but I'm still not getting clients. And it's like, actually, it's because we've got to tap in to the unique thing for you. Look at us, we're doing that.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. Can we have a podcast on like just that? It's like, yes, I can teach you like my entire brain. I can teach you 10 years of marketing, but your application, your execution, your enthusiasm, how you activate your brain in order to do that is going to look very different, baby boy. And like, it's not going to be like, it's not gonna be exactly me, and it's not supposed to be exactly me. Like, it's your business. Like, I can't, like, you can't teach me your business as good as I can teach. Like, sorry, let me reiterate that one more time. You can't teach me your business as good as you know it, and I can't teach you my business as good as I know it, because we are the separating factors. I can teach you foundations. I can give you best practices, and then we can rejudge certain things so they actually make sense and work for you. But the rejudging part is like the key.
Yeah.
It's the key. It's the, okay, you didn't understand that. Okay, can you tell me? Again, it's the big long list of questions of like, okay, tell me more. Give me the specific details. Like, I was out with my client the other day, and he's a very eloquent person, but when he would film himself, it would come off stiff and robotic and like preachy. And I'm like, who are you? Who is this? You just become like a whole new human. Like,
Yeah.
so I got him, doing the things that are going to activate his brain, that is like, both going to relax him, but also get him to focus in the right way, is when we saw the difference in content. And that's why I was like, okay. And like I said, everybody's unique. I don't, only you are going to know what's going to activate your brain. Only you know.
Yeah.
I just got to make sure that I hold the space to do it.
Oh my gosh. I love that. That is so powerful. We could talk for hours on all of this digital marketing stuff.
We should.
Like, part of me in the background's going, we should start a podcast together. I'm like, no, you can't have another podcast. Like, so just know, like, I could easily talk to you, like, with you for hours, like, on this sort of stuff. But it's time to call this to a close, at least for this part. So thank you so much. We will, of course, have links to all of your stuff in the show notes. But for people who are like me, who are like, screw the show notes, I'm just going to Instagram right now or wherever, where should people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hi, my name is Samantha Grobler. I am the founder and the digital marketer here at Socials Brewing. So that's social, SOC. Forgot. Super, we love it. So I'm Samantha here at Socials Brewing. That's SOCIALS Brewing, BREWING. It's consistent throughout all my platforms. Right now, I'm really focused on Instagram. However, if in the next 2 weeks or so, when I start launching on TikTok, if you want to see a more raw, unfiltered self, head over to TikTok, because that's where it's going to get real interesting. It's already pretty interesting on my Instagram. I get pretty in the stories. But if you want candid, raw, unfiltered marketing, social media advice, like, I am your girl. I am ready to have a big sister talk with you. I'm always happy to help, even if you have questions that you're like, is this a stupid question? There's no such thing as stupid question. Just stupid people. I'm just kidding. But if y'all ever have any questions, comments, I'm here. I'm here for it all. Did you like what you hear? Did you not like it? I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts. I'm always here for a brand new perspective, because at the end of the day, that's what makes a great marketer, is we're here for your perspective.
Gosh, I love that. Such powerful words. Thank you so, so much. This has been amazing.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Tiffany. We need to talk about the marketing podcast for real, though.
Thanks for listening to the Business Bravery podcast. Has this episode inspired you to do something brave? Even if it's only send a difficult email, please share it with me on Instagram or other social media channels. Feel free to tag me at Tiffany G Studios. That's TIFFANY. G for golf, STUDIOS, no spaces, no underscores, etc. Or you can use the hashtag Business Bravery Podcast so that I can cheer you on, and together we can inspire other coaches and course creators to do brave things in their business and life. Now, I'm Tiffany, and I'll leave you with this one last thing. What's one brave thing you're going to do today? It doesn't have to be big. Even the smallest steps can create the most massive results. So again, feel free to share it with me either publicly or privately so that I can cheer you on. That's it from me. Until next time, bye for now.